Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Processing Podcast. Woo! Woo! Normally I introduce ourselves, but people get it. They understand what they came for.
They know.
And if you enjoy this and you've not yet subscribed on YouTube, now's the time. We're making a big push for YouTube these days.
Do it now.
And or maybe you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We've thought about putting the video on Spotify too. I don't know if we're making those moves yet, but someday. There's great content coming. Side note, great content coming because next week
YouthCon is happening, and we're recording a live episode at YouthCon, and we'll be releasing it next week for all the non-youths.
And also for any youths that are currently listening today, get ready because we're going to hang out with some teenagers.
Yep.
And we're going to answer as many questions as we can. We'll do some, hopefully some live Q&A stuff. And it's going to be a party. It's going to be crazy.
I was just thinking that I graduated high school 12 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
That's just nuts. I feel like I'm not far out.
Okay, so you know the intern that I shared the story on here that I was like, how old are you?
Oh, yeah.
And he's taller than me, stronger than me, has a thicker mustache than me. He came to Apple Valley on Saturday. He was 18, by the way. I'm twice his age, whole thing. Anyways, I'm giving him a shout out. And Jade and then his brother, all three of them were like, dude, we love processing. And so that was just a little shout out. They go to Woodbury.
Epic.
So, but if you're a teenager,
are they going to be there at YouthCon?
They're youth leaders. I think they're youth leading with Trevor.
Sick.
I could be wrong. And then I've been talking to a lot of people that are going to be at YouthCon as youth leaders, and they're just a part of our church. They love processing, so should be fun.
That's the only way. If you're an adult, you got to be a youth leader, and if you're trying to sign up in time, it's too late.
What else? Special content.
Special content. Oh, marriage night.
Yep.
Coming up in a couple weeks.
I think it's March 5th.
Yeah.
So Kaylee and I are going to record.
Is that next week?
A processing episode on marriage at Apple Valley. And you and Mac are going to do a processing episode on marriage at Crosstown. We're going to record those and then we'll put them out as episodes, like bonus episodes.
Yeah, I haven't told Mac yet, so.
Surprise.
But
well,
I mean, she knows we're teaching together.
And she listens every week, so she just heard the announcement, right?
Yeah.
No, that's funny. Kaylee, she doesn't make every episode, but
yeah. No, Mac listens to some.
Jade, that girl I was talking about, I just met her. And we're believing for a healing miracle in her body. But she said she just recently learned about the podcast and is going back and listening to every episode.
Yeah.
She's loving it. So
epic. Did you say miracle?
Miracle. What did I say?
Miracle, like miracle on ice?
Oh, dude. Do you believe in miracles? Yeah, dude. Are you going to say it?
46 years, man. 46 years in the making.
46-year drought.
USA.
Win the gold.
Gold medal champs. Yep.
Guys and girls.
Both. Clean sweep of Canada.
Yeah, Canada. No offense. No offense. No offense to the Canadians.
Did you watch the game after church? I mean, I know you didn't watch it live.
Dude, you want to know what happened to me? I got to be honest, and I'm not going to expose who it was. But somebody at church on Sunday between services walks in with a big USA jersey and go in the lobby, "We won! We won!" And I was like, thanks a lot, dude. Thanks a lot. I'm out here serving the Lord, intentionally engaged on the people. You know, Lord, use me today. Thinking I'm going to watch a game later. I'm not going to be sneaking in on my phone like all these sports addicted people. And then this guy comes in and ruined it. So I knew we won at that point, but it was kind of cool. I didn't know it went into overtime. So when I watched, that was exciting to just kind of see it play out. I didn't know how many goals there were. So, you know, there was some suspense involved, but Yeah, so I watched it right after. It's amazing.
Yeah, Mac and I went home and we watched it too, and we did know that they won, but same kind of deal. I didn't know how it happened. It was fun to watch, fun to see the energy. I mean, I thought it was crazy. Just the difference. People were posting about the difference between hockey and basketball, to where Jack Hughes literally gets his teeth knocked out.
Yeah.
And then comes back in a few minutes later. I mean, it wasn't that long.
Listen, when I was growing up, there was like a hero. I was in elementary school, hero on the varsity hockey team on Alaska High School, Robin Finko, who actually passed away tragically.
Wow, that story took a turn.
Not playing hockey later. Anyways, he was a high school hockey legend, and one of the high school hockey games, he got his face split open, like cut open, and they took him to the locker room. He got stitches in the locker room and came back and played out the game. That is hockey culture.
Oh, absolutely.
It's amazing. And basketball, they growing up, they called basketball pumpkin pushers. It's, I guess it's a real sport in the sense that golf is a real sport, takes some finesse, right? It takes finesse to shoot and score. But as far as overall toughness, you could never put basketball and hockey even in the same conversation, Now, if you want to talk about toughness, I think rugby is up there. I think in some senses, some positions in football is up there, but there's nothing like ice hockey.
Oh, yeah, I agree 100%. And I think there are eras of basketball that were tougher than there are now, So I think just to defend, like not tougher than hockey, but tougher than by comparing today's NBA versus other
and what
NBA.
other sport has like literal roles, like enforcer roles that fighting is a part of? Like the reason you're on this team is for the illegal fighting that we need you to do against the other team. You're going to get a penalty, but it's actually what we want you to do. Like fighting is hockey culture as well.
Oh, yeah.
And the refs, you're going to get a penalty, but the refs will not stop it unless somebody falls to the ice. And that, in that case, like it's much more dangerous. But they'll let you duke it out. And part of that's to keep the ref safe is like, listen, if you guys are going to do this, and there's nothing like a goalie fight.
Oh, yeah. Like just happened the other day.
Like, when goalies start on. And I think most of the time, unless it's like during playoffs, most of the time it's like for the fun of the game because it gets the people going, Like it is entertainment value. And so I think they kind of love each other, but like we're gonna throw real punches.
You're saying the goalies.
Well, I'm just saying in general. Like fighting, you're letting this masculine energy out, and it's entertainment for the people.
Yeah.
So there's like a fun element involved. And there's nothing.
But some of them actually
like
really don't like each other too.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is usually it's for high stakes games. Like when I know every game matters, but
that is something about hockey culture that is crazy. In football, if you punch somebody's helmet, so like your hand actually takes the worst of the deal, right?
Yeah.
You punch a guy in his helmet.
Yeah.
You get ejected.
Yeah, you're gone.
You're gone, and you might get fined.
Yeah.
Whereas in hockey, you bare fist punch somebody square in the face, and you're out for 5 minutes.
Yeah. 5-minute major. And then you're back in the game.
Yeah.
And actually, if you punch anybody in the helmet, that person who's kept their helmet on is a loser. And so hockey culture is take your gloves off, take your helmet off, and let's go to town.
Different.
Yeah.
It's a different animal.
Yeah.
And Kaylee, she grew up in the basketball world. So she does not understand or appreciate that part of what is hockey culture. But
That's Mac's
I love
favorite.
It, dude.
Mac's favorite part is anytime I'm watching hockey, or even during, whenever there's the scrum around the goal or whatever, she's like, "Oh yeah, let's go. I want to see a fight. Come on, that's awesome."
Yeah, because you're taught as a mite. So that's like young hockey. You're taught to protect your goalie, and that your goalie cannot be touched by anybody. And so if there's a thought that your goalie gets touched by a stick after the whistle's blown,
Oh yeah.
it's like you go tackle that person. You go get them off of your goalie immediately, the whole team. And so, yeah, you're taught all these things. Like growing up, squirts, peewees, like locker boxing is a thing. It's like the coaches are rarely in the locker room. So it's also not this, if you're trying to raise your kids in the ways of the Lord, like the locker room can be a dicey place too. But yeah, we would box each other like teammates, just for fun. And in that, you would keep your gloves on, and sometimes wear helmets. But yeah, just trying to win in boxing. But USA won gold.
Yeah, Ellie's wearing her America hat.
I am. I don't wear this hat often. Today felt like the right day.
Today was the day.
Today was the day.
I almost wore my "Make America Great Again" hat today. I'm just kidding. I didn't wear it today.
I didn't see how that resolved. They got invited to the State of the Union? So we're recording this Monday. This is coming out Wednesday.
Yeah. So State of the Union is Tuesday night.
Is Tuesday.
As you're listening to this podcast, it's already happened.
Yep.
But it's not happened for us.
But I heard the phone call with President Trump
Yep.
and the team.
It's a pretty iconic phone call. And I think this is just how Trump is. Like this energy. First of all, Kash Patel is there, the FBI director. And he's like partying with the team.
Which is wild.
Like he leads the FBI.
Yes. Like I saw criticism. Like people on the left are like, this is the most ridiculous thing ever. And people on the right are like, well, that's what I want my FBI director doing. And I'm like, I think we can have a middle ground here.
Yeah, I think maybe some middle ground is necessary. But when you're talking about a 47 year drought.
Does Trump use profanity in this call?
I was just wondering the same thing.
It is American. I think we can bleep it in post. I don't know. Yeah.
Sure.
All right, let's give it a shot.
You want to give it a shot?
We'll give it a shot. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I saw some of it, but we'll give it a shot.
I'm not trying to. We're
gonna get an ad.
But
I'm just saying, Trump. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Dude, I always love pulling up a nice ad on YouTube.
Honestly, the worst.
Okay. We got to get that YouTube Premium.
Yeah, we might need YouTube Premium for this.
1 minute. 1 minute. And by the way, your goalie played not bad.
Howie, say hi. Howie, say hi to him.
How you doing, Don?
Calls him Don.
I've seen hockey goalies have slightly worse games than that. Unbelievable, and you were all unbelievable. And that team is pretty good you played. I don't know if it's going to begin anytime soon, right? I tell you what, I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something, but if you would like to, it's the coolest night, it's the biggest.
We're in.
Yeah,
we're in.
Someone just says we're in.
Can you pick us up in Miami on Tuesday morning?
Yeah, Tuesday morning. Close the northern border.
We'll get cash and we'll get the military to get you guys up.
Let's go.
Boys are going to the State of the Union.
The nice thing about being president is I can tell you, you don't have to worry about the weather or landing. So we don't care if it's snowing, if it's the worst blizzard, you'll be sailing through that stuff just like you did on the ice.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now we'll do it at the White House anytime. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that.
I didn't hear the extended call.
Yeah.
I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay? But anyway, if you could work that out, I would be honored to have you. I'll introduce you to the whole...
I got it, boss. I got it.
Okay, you got
Oh, that's
it.
Cash's phone.
Yes.
Congratulations. That was an unbelievable game. I don't know if one person that wasn't... Everybody that called me said, I'm watching the hockey game. I don't know if anybody that wasn't. And You're going to be proud of that game for 50 years as you grow older. I mean, it was amazing. So we love you guys. Congratulations. And I hope to see you, Cash, Tuesday night. And I want to shake hands. I'm going to shake hands with everybody, but I got to shake hands with that goalie.
Gotta shake hands with the goalie. All right, that's a phone
We'll
call.
see you Tuesday night, Mr. President.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they, again, if you're listening to this, maybe they went, maybe they didn't. But that was cool.
It's just funny to hear him say, I'll send a military plane. We'll get you here Tuesday night. That's one of the greatest things about being president. You don't got to worry about the weather or landing. Basically
We got the best pilots, the best planes. Yeah. A lot of people were making a big deal about I didn't watch the full clip until now, about like the women's team thing.
Yeah.
That he's like, I would be impeached. They were like, he was super degrading. I actually felt like he was more like, we got to bring them, like, I'd be impeached. But it wasn't like he was dogging on them.
No, lighthearted enough.
Yeah, it was lighthearted. But I thought that was cool.
It literally is a locker room conversation between guys.
But think about this.
He's like,
the FBI director is in the locker room at the Milan Olympics, partying with the USA team that just won gold for the first time in 46 years, gets the president on speakerphone and is talking to guys as they're still in their gear, just hanging out, partying. It's just the most wild thing.
I'm not proud of the partying aspect, meaning the drinking aspect.
Yeah.
But like the celebration and that just dynamic is like American spirit. It's like this underdog overcoming. They hadn't won it in almost 50 years. The last time they won it was an impossibility that had ever happened. And so I don't know, the glory moments. I will say, I love seeing there's 3 different players that were very explicit in interviews throughout the Olympics, putting Christ first and putting Faber was one of them, who's from Maple Grove, I think. And then I forget the 2 others, but I always love seeing that because they experience all this like earthly glory in these moments. And, some of them will soak that in, which when you soak in glory, it'll kill you. So humans were not made to be worshiped. So those that are famous, those that are wealthy, those that are put into spotlight situations, that's why you see a lot of them. There's a lot of stories and examples of people's lives totally imploding. It's probably due to this receiving and soaking in and keeping people's idolizing and worship and praise and glory. They might not use that terminology, but that's what's happening. When you try to hold that in as a human being, you weren't made to contain that. You can't. It will kill you. That's why we're taught as Christ followers, like, no, we give the glory to the Lord. Like, I can't actually keep this. It feels good, but I have to recognize who actually gets it. The credit goes to God. He gave me these gifts. He opened the door of opportunity. He helped me come through. And so I love seeing players do that. Others will they'll deflect in a way and make it like American or about the team. And I think there's an aspect of humility to that you do appreciate. But Christ followers, I think, shine through shine bright in these moments of like glory where everybody's soaking it in and they go like, God, you get all the credit. This is all for you. Like, this is not me. God, you get the glory. You get the credit.
Well, I think we talked about that last year too, when Scotty Scheffler, he was asked, Scotty's been dominant and right now he's like struggling and still getting top 10 finishes, but he was dominating and they're like, do you need to win the Grand Slam or do you need to win this major? And he's like, no, my victory was paid for on the cross. Like everything I do, I'm super competitive, but ultimately my life satisfaction doesn't come from how many things I win. It comes from Christ. And I do think that is a unique posture for people who are, people buy their jersey and wear their name on their back. It's got to be a pressure that everyone deals with. I think so many times it's easy to criticize that world, but if you were in the same position I mean, even in the smallest sense of like feeling this weight and responsibility towards the people that listen to this podcast, and that's a couple thousand people. Imagine having millions upon millions of people relying on your next record or cheering for your sports team or all that. It's a big weight and pressure.
Yeah. Well, it'll crush you
Yeah.
if you stay under all of that pressure. The only way to get out from under it is to say, God, what did Job say? The Lord gave and the Lord took away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. It's like that type of living actually lets you survive celebrity and survive total devastation and loss when everything comes crumbling. It's like, yeah, the Lord gave and the Lord took away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I've learned to be content in all seasons, in having a lot and having a little, Paul wrote. It's like to learn that type of contentment, because these guys, I know Eruzione probably would say differently, like on the 1980 team, where he's like, maybe for him the fame, there was something sustaining to that, but until the movie Miracle was made, I bet you there was a couple decades where it wore off a little bit, where it just wasn't the strong narrative. These guys, they're going to soak it up, but this fame will be gone. I mean, they'll get invited to the Stanley Cup, and they'll get it, they're going to, every 4 years, they'll go probably to the Winter Olympics and support the next USA team, like those types of things. But to this level and to this like mainstream, it's like 5 minutes of fame that will be gone. And if you are soaking it in, that becomes your identity. Your identity now is like at this peak level, which will not be sustained. And then you're a shell of who you are when it goes away. You have no clue who you are. And again, that's where you see drug addiction, mismanagement of finances, infidelity, impurity, and people's lives totally implode. So,
Well, have you ever seen that?
it's kind of a dark turn on this celebratory moment. I am celebrating. I'm pumped.
Well, if you've ever seen the question where they say, would you rather have $1 million right now, or would you rather have a penny that doubles every day for 30 days or whatever? And people are like, oh, I'd rather have $1 million now. And then the penny ends up being doubling, where is worth way more. I think some of that's true in these big euphoric moments of life, where it's the birth of your child or your wedding or all these things. You think that's the moment that is the euphoric moment, that's the top at the top. But the reason why it is that way is because of what it meant. Like all these guys that are celebrating the winning, like you and me, we're woohoo USA. It's like we didn't do any work. We did no work at all, other than watching the game after church, after the result already happened. Yet we are in some ways trying to share a slice of that joy. And again, I think there's unity that sports brings. And Mike Trico's speech at the end of that, I thought was a really good speech, where he just talked about how sports can unite people, and this is an example of that.
How they honored Gaudreau.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was so
and
cool.
his kids, I thought was
super cool.
sick. When you see the Kachuk brothers, when you see the Hughes brothers, there's something too also, like it's like these two bros and their parents are in the stands. It's like, dude, this family is having this moment. Like, yeah, there's something that does spill into us viewers that it just makes, it's like, dude, that is amazing.
But I'm saying the actual trophy itself is one moment that represents. I mean, for like I saw, they did a bit on Jordan Stolz, the speed skater from the Olympics who won a couple gold medals. And, they're showing him around his pond growing up and showing all these pictures. That gold medal was a moment, and it was whatever, a minute and a half of the race. It's a lifetime of work that they're then celebrating through this achievement. And I think that, to me, is more of like why moments are so significant, and also why those who have a ton of money and are super rich and just get it given to them, why they don't necessarily share in the same joy than if they earned it. And you have people that they get this inheritance, or they just get money, or they win the lottery, and it's you are just lucky. that doesn't have the same joy versus if all of a sudden, like if you and I were given a jersey and pads and they said, just sit on the bench for Team USA. All we need is a bench warmer, but you're going to win a gold medal. Like I found out the coach, Mike Sullivan, didn't earn a gold medal. The coaches don't earn. Herb Brooks didn't get a gold medal when he won in Miracle in 1980. The coach doesn't get it. It's just the players. But if you and I sat on the bench and they said, sit on the bench, wear the uniform, and you get the gold medal, it might be a funny story, but we would not have the satisfaction that these other players have knowing that they earned their spot there.
No,
and so
I'd figure out a way to get on the ice, honestly.
well, there was one guy that was on for like 30 seconds, and I'm like, hey, I played in the game. I played.
Oh, yeah. Well, most shifts are 20 to 40 seconds, which is crazy. It is very fast, like on the ice. And if you get one shift, you played.
Yeah.
And you can score in 20 seconds. I mean, you can be a difference maker. But I would probably do it if we ever had to pull the goalie and then you get to send an extra skater on the ice. I would be the extra skater before the actual planned extra skater could leave the bench. So as soon as the goalie's getting a little bit close, I'd just jump the gun and go. That'd be my path on.
And then you
the
turn
ice.
around and go right back.
No, I would play, and then I would get in trouble later. I'm just
The fact that you've thought
if
about
I had
this.
if I had a plan to, I'm a bench warmer, but if we pull the goalie, I'm in. I'm going.
Fair enough.
You didn't know what to do with that.
Well,
I will say, can I tell you the story?
it flies in the face of the point I was making. So,
Oh, sorry. You want to keep going? No, I thought the point was good. We would not have the satisfaction if we didn't play.
but you're like, but I'd get in.
I'm sorry.
No. You don't need to apologize.
All right. I do want to say this story. When you're a peewee in hockey, that's when you can start checking. That's when you can start throwing weight around, hitting people. I was a squirt. That's the level you're not allowed to check yet. You can't hit anybody. So I was a squirt. We played. This is in Wisconsin. We were playing a game in against Rochester, Minnesota. So it was my brother's team. He was a peewee. I was a squirt. We were in Rochester. My brother's team was short players because of sickness or people didn't show up. And so they were going to have to forfeit the game if they didn't have another player. And so my dad came to me and said, Kirk, do you want to play your first peewee game ever? These guys are 2 years older than me. And I was like, I'll do it. I'm in. And I got to suit up on my older brother's team, my first peewee game ever, where they're like checking people. So it's like I went from paintball to like real war. You know, that's like,
Yeah.
As a kid, that's like what it is, you know, and they're all bigger than you.
Yeah.
Because at that time, 2 years definitely matters.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
And I remember my first shift out there, I got rocked, like got hit so hard. And I skated quickly off the ice, and the coach goes, "Welcome to Pee-wees." And I was like, "Thanks," you know, just adrenaline going. And in that game, no lie, it was amazing. My older brother got a hat trick. That's 3 goals and 2 assists. And I got 3 assists and 2 goals.
Oh my goodness.
Like
Wow.
the Graham brothers, Kyle and Kirk Graham, we played the greatest hockey game probably ever in our whole career. Like
he was like Quinn and Jack
today,
Hughes.
that was probably the greatest
was
game
your
we've
Olympic
ever
moment.
played.
You have the Hughes brothers, you have the Chuck brothers, and then you have the Graham brothers.
That was like our gold medal game. It was amazing because also Minnesota hockey is better than Wisconsin hockey. Just in general, Minnesota
State
is
of
like
hockey.
a hockey state. Yeah,
Yep.
and so we always you kind of look up to Minnesota that way, and you have this underdog spirit. Like we're gonna, and man, we killed it. And then one more story. Last game of my brother's high school career, we were on the same team, and this is high school now. Our coach just threw all caution to the wind and gave us the AOK for like fights. This is the last game of the season.
Wow.
And I think I was one of the first in the penalty box. At the end of the game, I think 7 of our players were put in the penalty box for going out and just throwing fists. It was chaos. Our coach got kicked. Our coach got kicked out. And so I'll never forget that. It's one of the most fun seasons of all time. My sophomore
This
year.
is a crazy episode.
Sorry.
No, it's
I don't know
okay.
if people want to hear about that,
you
but
don't-
that's hockey. That's
Yeah.
hockey life.
No, you threw a little, spiritual in there, talking about the celebrity and
No, I'm trying to make it valuable, spiritually valuable.
one thought that I had is we just finished up our giving stewardship financial series. We do it once a year, where we 3 weeks talk about tithe, talk about Kingdom Village, talk about managing your money. Pastor Rob talked about kind of two different groups of people, some that are underwater, some that are kind of above the water. And I
Kept
thought,
saying hydroplaning.
yeah,
And I was like, isn't that like chaos?
well,
Like-
that's what Max
I'm
said.
hydroplaning.
Yeah, I think he was using it like more like you're above the water, but I
Like kind of like you're floating.
yeah, but I think my feedback would say like you could have said like boating around or like on the water or like skiing over it or
Flying high.
above the clouds,
Yeah.
But
hydroplaning.
hey, that was what he was rolling with. So
Yeah, it's all good.
I think we got there, but yeah, it was
Everybody understood what he's talking about.
yeah. But I thought it would be I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on things you've seen. One of the things in ministry that a lot of people don't bring it up because at least in America, finances are kind of taboo. It's like, oh well, I'm not going to talk about that. Yet when I'm meeting with people, when it gets down to it, oftentimes that is a huge issue in what they're walking through. I mean, even to hear some of the stats that Pastor Rob shared that a lot of us have heard over time, but when you're hearing them back to back of, nearly half of Americans that are, can't afford, don't have $1,000, 30% can't afford a $400 expense. We're talking about people in our church here. It's not, obviously Minnesota is a wealthier state. I think top 10, in that. And maybe some of our areas that we have campuses is a more well-off area. Others are different. But I just think that it might be worth talking about because a lot of people aren't willing to just put out their budget in front of you and say, this is where my money's going. But these stats aren't just made up.
Yeah.
People are struggling or people are making bad decisions. And I talked to Mac about this, and I think there's actually, like, you could even break down what Pastor Rob talked about into 3 groups. I think you have those that are above the water. You have those that are below the water because they don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
They might be on a fixed income or they're just struggling. They're maybe below the poverty line on income. But then you have those, and I think what Pastor Rob was speaking to more of is those who make enough money to get by, but they're managing it poorly. And I think that's something where I'd like to focus on, to where we could talk all day about how individuals can get above the line from an income standpoint, but that's very personal. What their skill sets are. I mean, it'd be more of an individual sense. But there's a lot of people that find themselves in the middle there where they're making $50, $60, $70, $100, $200, $500,000. You say, there's people $500,000 living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, their paychecks are larger, but they're overextending themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I thought that might be an interesting thing to chat through as pastors, from things you've seen over the years, things you've learned. Not to say we're the best people ever to talk about it, but I've seen a lot of dumb decisions, and I think a lot of times people point their finger at their dumb decisions, but then they realize, ooh, I make some dumb ones myself.
Yeah, I think when it comes to finance, most people are not perfect with their finance. I mean, nobody is, but I think most people find themselves making some level of mistake, and for some people, time and time again. Even those that want to honor the Lord in the area of their finances, part of it too is like, and this is probably a whole nother tangent to the conversation, with the rapidly changing landscape of digital currency, cryptocurrency, different ways you can invest, even just investing in fractional shares of stocks. Like, you no longer need $500 to invest in the S&P 500. You can invest 10 cents in a fractional share. So like the accessibility of where your dollars can go, pay later. Like not now,
Yeah,
I don't even need to
Afterpay
open.
or-
I don't need to open a credit card. I can just do 4 easy payments in this one button, and that's easier. Like there is. It's kind of how your dad's talked about social media. There is this group of people that lived in the old way of life where it's like cell phones were rare to now super smartphones with social media are in our hands. And what do we do? Like, we weren't raised to like know what to do with this. I think financially is kind of that same thing. It's like there will be the crypto natives in younger Gen Z, Gen Alpha that just, that's what they pay with Dogecoin and everything. That's just like what happens, But for us, anybody that's listening, it's like, no, all of those other extracurricular opportunities of where your money could go didn't exist before, or if they did, it was like a lot of hurdles to like get your money there, and then it was very hard, the same hurdles to get your money out of there. It's like I got to meet with this person, or I got to open this account, I got to fill out this paperwork, I got to fax or scan it back in, I got to figure out the PDF software to figure out how to sign it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The hurdles were a lot. Now there's like no hurdles. It's like you can download an app and move your money around, boom, 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 instantly. And I think people were not ready for that, are not ready for that. And I think it's probably another just tangent to the convo. Were you going to say something?
Well, I think it's the same thing with like gambling too.
Yeah.
And we've talked a little bit about that, and that's another area of unwise money management. But it's everything is at your fingertips. It's so accessible. I mean, there's people that are spending so much money on this. I mean, there's people that are paying. I mean, it's mind blowing to me that this is a reality. But there's people that are paying for subscriptions to like OnlyFans, pornography. And they're paying subscriptions to this, and it's like it's wild. There's people that are spending so much money on sports betting, people spending so much money on alcohol. All of these things, these are the things that are not even your necessities. And so that's that part of like as you're talking about all these things and crypto and these different tools, I think a huge part is all this is out there, and it's distracting us from normal, good, biblical financial principles.
It's true. I'm externally processing now, and that's what this podcast is for, because I haven't really thought about it through this lens, but it's almost like we need to lay out for people, and I'm not the expert in it. I'm just saying it's almost like the church needs to lay out for people like, hey, for a period of time until you're debt free or until you're able to save at least 10% towards retirement, or, there's some mile markers. Here's what you're not allowed to do. And it's like all the noise of other things. Cause Dave Ramsey says like $1,000 emergency fund and no credit cards. I know
Right.
It's more than that, but like, I think in today's world, we need or in the church, it's almost like we need more clarity. Like, hey, guess what? Crypto, you're just not going to do that. Like you're not going to do that. Sports betting, you're definitely not going to do that. Tipping people on TikTok, or Twitch, like, because that's also, it's like these random ways, like people are like sending money to a streamer to get your name shouted out because they're playing Fortnite, like money's going everywhere.
Right.
And it's like, can we just say like, actually, we're going to turn the faucet off on all of these different opportunities, way more than credit cards, like way more. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to tithe. You do not believe in God. You do not believe that he's the provider. I almost said it very like blatantly. Like, I think tithing is the proof that you have faith in God, that he's the provider. What else? What other proof is there? Like, I'm actually just asking. Like, I was in mid thought, and I'm kind of now stopping just on the tithe thing. But it's like the tangible proof that you think God is the provider is trusting him by giving the tithe.
Well, and even expanding on that, Pastor Rob talked a little bit about that there are saying that to somebody who's struggling is a hard thing to hear. And I think he even could have expanded on it more, and he had a lot to cover and was trying to figure that out, and even talked about the Dave Ramsey, the baby steps and all these different things. as I was processing it with Mac in the car, I said, the reason why, again, from a financial advice standpoint, from a calculation standpoint, what I would say to somebody if they said, why is that true? When you do that, when you tithe, you're saying God is first in my life. He's the provider. You're saying I trust his way more than I trust my way. I also think when you do that, it makes you reevaluate the 90 with a stewardship lens far more than you did before when everything was yours.
100%.
I think the people who live in that principle, they realize, wait a minute, nothing in my life in a very significant way changed with that 10% number. And again, I know everyone has different stories. Most of the people I talk to, they say, I did it, and then I realized I was dealing with the same things before on 90 than I was 100. It wasn't the number. You add 10% more of that, you get a 10% raise. It doesn't change the person in the mirror. But there is something, when you give to the Lord, it starts to change the person in the mirror.
Yeah.
You reevaluate things. And even I look at people who start to get more money and they start to live out these principles. Maybe I shared this before, but I was saving up for a tool, an expensive table saw. And I was saving up for it, thousands of dollars. Recently, I finally got enough money and then I didn't buy it because I was like, I don't need it. The one I have is fine. And it's like, well, what'd you do with the money? It's like, well, put it in savings, have given, still trying to figure that out. But it's like, I finally had the money to do it. And I was like, yeah, I don't.
I think that's the intentional stewardship side of it. It's
Yeah.
Like you've stewarded in a way that discipline has allowed you to now have that money, and you've stewarded in such a way that it's like, I actually don't need to pull the trigger.
And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to get it. It doesn't mean it would have been bad if I bought it. I'm not trying to say that. If you're saving up for something and you want to buy it and you did it the right way, buy it. Like, you should not feel guilty. I'm not trying to make anyone feel that way. What I'm saying is it makes you reevaluate. It's like, I've heard Dave talk about this where he says, you're going to go buy something expensive, bring cash and start laying down those $100 bills. And you start going, you know what? Those $400 headphones don't look so nice anymore when I'm staring at Benjamin Franklin,
Yeah, and by the way, if you have $400 headphones and you're drowning in debt, you don't need the headphones.
Or like the new iPhone. It's like, I'll talk to people. I was talking to somebody once and he was really struggling financially is what he said to me. And then he shared with me, I just got the brand new iPhone yesterday. I said, what? Wait a minute. Why did you do that? It's like, oh, well, it's like, it came like, it was just a trade up and I just pay $70 a month.
Yeah, I need a phone.
That's like $900 a year. Like, what? Oh, well, I just needed a new phone.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you needed it? It's like, well, I needed my car. So here's a mistake that a lot of people make. Car breaks down, $1,200 expense. They have a paid off car, a junky car, but they're like, oh, this is what I have. It's $1,200. And they think, oh my goodness, I need a new car because this thing is just a piece of junk. And I need a new car and I need reliability. And then they go get a car payment for $600 a month for 6 years. And it's like 2 months in is $1,200. And now for the next 58 or 70 months, you're paying $600. But it's like, whew, I needed that reliability. Needed the relief.
I met with a young couple that they were working 6 jobs. So
3 each?
3 each.
Oof.
Part-time, like side hustle, 6 jobs. Anyways, that's how they were framing it up.
Yeah.
We're working 6 jobs. We're exhausted. We never see each other. But we need the money. Like, there's not another thing we can cut. And he was meeting and he had his AirPod, like Max Pro headphones, like $549 headphones. And I was like, did you get those as a gift? I literally just said, and he's like, well, no, I bought these. I was like, you should sell them. Like you're saying and he did. He got rid of them, sold them. But those are the things. It's like, I think we need all this stuff. Mm-hmm. We need, I can't live in a $900 a month apartment. It's got to be $2,200 a month. It's got to be, because I'm not
I
saying
don't have a
I
golf
need
simulator.
I'm not saying I need the pool, but it's like, no, poor people live in 900. It's like, no,
Right.
no, you are poor, and that's not where you want to stay. The Lord wants to lift you up out of that. You'll never get out of it by paying $2,200 a month that you can't afford because you want everybody else to know that you have a pool. You don't need much. And it's like a shaking that we need in America. I texted this to the campus pastors. And maybe I'll read it, because I actually think what God is doing in our church, which has to do with the anointing that's on our lead pastor, but it's the kingdom builder's miracle. There's not another church person by person or pound by pound in the world that gives as much as River Valley Church. Maybe Dominic Yo's in Singapore, maybe, but I don't know how large their church is.
It'd be similar, yeah.
But there's not another church in the world. Think about that. That's
that gives as much away. Yeah.
per person.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying when you look at the size of our church,
right,
and the amount given away. So that's not. Anybody can fact check that. Fine. If there's an example, we want to learn from them.
Totally.
But we're talking about in the world.
Yeah, that we know.
Why,
yeah,
that's why also when I talk to some of our staff that sometimes go through challenges, or even congregation members that go like, why do we always do this, or what's the reason we're always talking about kingdom builders, or what are we always doing? I just have to remind them, like, listen, there's something on each individual church. What's on our church is this miracle story of generosity, that we would be number one in the world. I'm not saying the best. I'm not saying more special than others. I'm just saying in this area, there's not another church. Maybe Dominic Yo's in Singapore. But again, I don't know the size. I don't know, but they would be up there. And it's like, oh, I just have to recognize there's like a move of God thing that's on our church. And when I was reflecting this weekend, finishing up this series, I wrote this. I said, what if what is on River Valley Church is more, it's more than just funding kingdom work around the world, but it's about purifying the American church, loosening America's grip on wealth so God can have their whole heart. What if all of the kingdom builders miracle thing that we're experiencing isn't just about releasing money from America, all the generosity accelerators, everything. It's not just releasing money from America, but it's releasing America from money and the love of money. The anointing is not just about funding, it's about purifying. And I was taking it a step further. If it's about purifying, then that anointing can go beyond just what is financial. It's like, what are the other idols that live in our church that are not of the Lord, or that live in the American church, wherever River Valley has influence? And it's like, I think it's not a financial anointing, it's a purifying anointing. And so anyways, I was submitting that to Pastor Rob, but.
Well, I was talking to someone in the lobby, and this is just funny for people that think about, oh man, like this giving series. She's been coming to River Valley for 3 weeks. The 3 weeks were the 3 weeks of our giving series.
3 weeks.
Yeah. She joined Welcome Home. She did Welcome Home in the midst of that, and then attended service as well. And I talked to her in the lobby, and she said, I've loved this series. It's really challenging for me. And she said, I work 2 jobs right now, and I just was talking to my mom, and I'm actually going to quit one of my jobs because I don't need that extra. I don't need it. And I want to be more involved at church, and I want to put God first. And she said, I'm not tithing. I'm going to start tithing, but I'm going to actually quit one of my jobs so that I can get more involved in what God wants me to do at this church. And I just thought to myself, like, this is someone brand new, hears about giving series, welcome to church. And she's coming up to me saying, this is awesome. This is what I need. I'm plugged in. I'm getting involved. And this is what I needed to hear. It's just the reminder that if we don't talk about it, it's why I wanted to talk about it today. Who else is talking about it?
Yeah.
I mean, again, Dave Ramsey's talking about it. If he can't be the only one talking about it,
Yeah.
we have to be talking about it. And I think even like, I don't want to necessarily take the whole time, but we can. We were naming things, and I think it would be helpful for people to keep on naming a few more that, like you shared, what the living situation. I talked about car payments. You talked about, hey, we're not going to do the super chats,
Afterpay or the crypto or the tips on Twitch.
But it's like with the baby steps. And again, if you haven't texted Ramsey to 94,000 and you want the Ramsey Plus,
we're not
all the
stocking
resources.
up on Pokemon cards.
Right.
I'm just speaking to a younger generation that's look at all these investment opportunities. And it's like, bro, you don't have $200 to find to fix your car if something did go wrong.
Right. But I think sometimes we talk about how, like, here's what you need to do. You need to get 3 to 6 months of savings. Well, how do you do that? Or you need to pay off debt. How do you do that? Well, you need to stop spending money on stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean that with respect. I've done it. We've talked about it before. We've lived it. So there are moments that I've made stupid decisions. And I think that I've seen people in our church that make modest incomes, but just make good financial decisions every single month. They're just consistent.
Yeah.
And those are the people that they become the millionaire next door in America. And you can be offended. You can be offended by what I'm about to say, but the math checks out. In America, you do not need to have a high salary to retire with at least $1 million, if not multiple millions of dollars. You invest a few $100s a month, you can have multiple millions of dollars if you do that for your entire life, from your entire working life, just with average returns.
Yeah.
And no financial advisor disputes that. The question is, do I have the discipline to be consistent for 40 plus years and not let cash out because I want to upgrade my house, or cash out because I want to invest in a better truck, or not invest at all? 50% of Americans, look that stat up, Ellie, to make sure I'm right. 50% of Americans don't own any stock or mutual funds. There's something around that number, but they don't even invest at all. They just, I don't have enough.
And then only because it can add a little bit of validity to our conversation.
So 37 to 41%. So
Roughly 4 in 10
Don't have any
households have
stake at
no
all.
stake in the stock market.
crazy.
That's crazy. And I don't think you should just be out there doing it by yourself either.
No,
It's
I'm
like-
saying like S&P 500.
Yeah.
I'm not. You don't have to invest to be a Christian. That's not what I'm saying. But there are mechanisms and tools that allow you to build wealth without completely taking huge risks in your life to where you need to go gamble or go play the lottery. Like, just by living in our nation, you have the ability to earn a significant amount of wealth just by putting a little bit away.
Yep, I agree. Can you look up Wes Huff talking about should Christians tithe? There's a great clip. He was on somebody's podcast, and just a great clip.
Was it this 3 minutes?
Something that
Maybe.
I thought it was a little bit shorter than that. Could be wrong.
This
Oh.
I might be able to find it. That one is
More of like short form on Instagram, but it is this one.
this is
Well, let's
the
just
long version.
run.
Yeah, I don't know that we want 3 minutes and 45 seconds of it.
Did he post it on his?
Yeah, he posted on his Instagram. See if I can find it.
But while you guys are looking for that, we'll see if it comes up.
I found
what
it.
I was saying.
I'll send it.
What I was saying earlier is, it might even be helpful for you if you're a listener, just writing down all the different ways that you're spending or investing money, and then determine what taps do I need to actually turn off for a period of time to get to the goal that I'm trying to get, whether that's debt free, or that's $1,000 emergency fund, or that's a month of income in savings.
Did you see it?
And not even just the on the investment side of all the different other ways that you can spend money or credit cards, but also looking at your budget. That's kind of, you were asking earlier, like, what have I seen in other couples? To me, I think there are a lot of young people that do not budget. So I know it sounds crazy, but it's like,
No, it doesn't. I've talked to so many that don't.
They just go, I spend less than I make. And it's like, are you sure?
Well, here's a difference. Here's what some people think is budgeting. They think budgeting is actually an expense report. Budgeting is not an expense report. Budgeting is allotting. Here's how much I'm going to spend on this next month
Yeah.
or in this quarter, not here's what I spent my money on. Some people think a budget is here's what I spent my money on. No. That's just you finding out what you did, whether it was dumb
your
or
bank
not.
does that without you.
Right. A budget is this is what I want to spend my money on. This is how I'm allocating it. And then I'm sticking to it.
Yep.
I'm planning. This is where it goes.
And then go line by line. And it's like, hey, I'm going to sell this, or I'm going to get rid of this, or I'm going to, I think there are times where, because you do go through seasons where it's like, we have more than enough, we have margin. There are times where, and it might even be because of generosity goals that you go, we're going to run things a little bit leaner. I've gone through all of our expenses and I've renegotiated contracts. I've switched internet just to get a better deal. Like, again, it's a hassle to get on the phone and to be on hold and to wait. But it's like, I know that for the next 2 years, I can save $20 per month just on that one line item. And they'll come take the old equipment and they'll install the new equipment, and it's all good. I never accept the 1 year, hey, for the first year introductory rate. On month 13, as soon as that comes up, or month 12, when it's coming up, I'm calling back. Can you give me another year at this rate? Otherwise, I'm gonna switch companies. And again, I didn't sign the extended contract. It's through negotiation. It's like,
Well, and sometimes too, like I got a new car insurance and I think I saved $900. I'll save $900 this year, or maybe more actually. But I do think that sometimes we get caught up in the small numbers versus the big numbers. That's one thing that I think is a mistake people make, is they're like, okay, my Starbucks, that's really what's putting me over the edge. And for some, maybe it is.
well, if your Starbucks is $8,
Right.
some of these Starbucks drinks are
It's absurd.
expensive.
But like, for
If
example,
you go to Subway once a month, dude, take out a mortgage. Subway is so expensive. I'm serious. They used to have the $5 footlong. Now it's $15 for a footlong, and you haven't even got chips yet.
I've not been
Sorry.
to Subway in a while.
It's expensive, dude. I don't know what they're doing.
But here's my point is, I agree. I think all those numbers add up, and we should be meticulous in them. And if you're like, this $6 Starbucks, if I get rid of this in the month, I'm going to be good for the month. Let's say you get Starbucks 10 times that month. That's $60. But you're living in an apartment that is $1,200 a month too expensive. Or your car payment is $750 a month.
Yeah.
That's my point, is sometimes we think about, I'm going to cut Starbucks, or I'm going to cut, I'm going to eat only this, and I'm going to do that, which I think we should still do with budgeting. But then we're unwilling to say, well, not the BMW.
Yeah.
Not my 2025 vehicle. Meanwhile, the guy who owns the company is driving a 2013 Camry.
Yeah. It is an amazing feeling to be a person that likes nice things and can enjoy nice things, but also does not need nice things. And I think I'm trying to say that strategically. There are people that can't enjoy nice things because they have pride in their heart,
right,
and they want to look better than everybody else, that they don't need as much as everybody else. And so they're super stingy, they're super frugal, they're penny pinching everything. They want to show everybody that they've got more rust on their car than the next person,
right,
because they are driving this into the ground because they're so good with their money. Those people, I think, are losers. I say that lightly, but
it's a different type of pride. Yeah.
It's a different type of pride. On the other side, there's this pride of like, I need the BMW. I need the Model 3. I need the iPhone. I need the, whatever. And it's like, dude, it feels so good to be able to enjoy nice things that you can't afford, but also when times get tough to go, oh, I didn't need that. I love feeling that freedom of like, that wasn't idolized in my heart. That had no grip on me, And I love those times of testing to go, like when the Lord leads you to release something, that you go like, oh man, I didn't need that. That feels so good. And that could be a job. That could be a job. It could be a title. It could be a salary. It could be a thing. It could be your house. Could be that, whenever you have something, sometimes you question, you think like, I like that I have this. Do I need it? I don't want it to have a grip on me. So you can kind of question that. I think the testing of whether or not you need it is when the Lord asks you to get rid of it. And I love the freedom of going, wow, I was good. I did not need that.
I also think the test comes in many of the verses Pastor Rob references, Matthew 6. And in the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 6 is where Jesus talks the most about money and possessions. But he starts that talking about anxiety. And I think that is the test. You mentioned if he asked you to give it up, that's one of the tests. I think another one of the tests is, does this make me anxious? People, who are listening to this driving in their BMW, it's not sinful to have a BMW. It's a lot of people would like to have BMW. If it makes you anxious, knowing the amount of money you're spending on it, and it's causing division. There are some people, a part of our church, that they could buy 50 BMWs cash, and their financial position they wouldn't feel anxious about it. It might not be a smart decision to buy, why do you need 50 cars? But the amount of money that would cost them as a percentage of their wealth would be so insignificant. Whereas there's others that just to have a car and not take the bus or the light rail or walk, that would be a stressful financial decision to pay for the gas and the insurance and that. Is one person better than the other? No person is better inherently. They're in different financial positions. But I don't want anyone to think, because I have a beautiful home, or because I have a nice car, or because I have things that other people can't afford, I'm bad. That's not it at all. It's that each, in accordance to what we've been given, we steward and we answer to the Lord for.
Yeah.
And that God's not going to look down and go, I'm so glad that you just got as much debt as possible so that you could impress everybody else.
Yeah.
To some, we've talked about this with like TV shows or with music that we listen to. To some, buying that item, that car, that house, might be disobedience to God because he asked you to give it up, or he asked you not to live in that neighborhood, or he asked you to not wear that item of clothing. And to others, it's not wrong. Everyone has to answer to God differently, but I want to encourage people that there is a point where you're spending too much money. There is a point where you've done too much on yourself. It all looks different, but if you have a lot of wealth, generosity is something you should take very seriously. All of us should take it seriously, but especially you have a lot of wealth. If you spend it all on yourself, you're going to have to answer to God for that. But also, if you don't have much and you leverage yourself to try to impress others, you're going to have to answer to God for that too. So yeah. I think that it's not a one size fits all. It's like, well, that person, I think Pastor Rob tries to be intentional about that. Just because you have a lot, many of us want that, but it's not. It's the desire. It's the mammon is the unquenching thirst of the possessions and wealth in this world that says, if God asked me to give it all away, I'd give it all away any moment. It's the rich young ruler. Yeah. And so you have to figure out, where am I, and am I managing what God has put in front of me well, so that it's not causing me anxiety and taking me away from the things that God actually wants to do in my life.
Yep. Something that I was thinking of while you're saying that is to those that are wealthy, and there are many people in our church. I think most of America is wealthy in comparison to the broader world, but something that wasn't brought up in this series that I think could be an important thing for those that do have a lot of resources is to make sure, is God, because you might say, I'm wealthy and I tithe and I'm part of the church, I give to Kingdom Builders, I'm doing this. But is God getting your first and best? I think there is this temptation, or this almost like lulling to sleep, if you will, because you have a lot. Like there are a lot of people that are wealthy in our church that would tithe quarterly, twice a year, once a year, and they just make kind of one big gift to the Lord annually. that those who are kind of paycheck to paycheck or don't have as much, they're more like they're slicing off that first 10% off of each paycheck throughout the year. It's just a trend that I've seen where it's like wealthier people in our church, they may not be doing it. Some do, but they may not be doing it every paycheck, which is fine. It's not a legalistic thing. But I think what I would hate to have happen for somebody with wealth to go like that it becomes this afterthought. Like, of course I'm gonna tithe, but it's like
what are my dues for the year? You know, kind of like that.
It's kind of like the country club reminds you like, well, the church, we're not reminding you nothing. But like when you think of it, year-end giving is a big deal, like especially for those tithers that give once a year. It's this afterthought. And to me, the question is, are you tithing on everything that you earned the previous year? Is that giving God your first? And if it is kind of the afterthought, is it giving God your best? You know, these opportunities for worship and intentionality in frequency are kind of removed because of the one annual easy, quick, click and pay. And there's also people in our church that go like, oh, I thought that was set up. I thought it was set up, and it's. Let me double check. I'll talk with my accountant, or I'll talk with my financial advisor, and it's like somehow through the comfortability of abundance, we've lost the intentionality to make sure that God, you get first and my best. And so I would just encourage anybody, if you're a once a year tither, consider doing it in anticipation of what you believe God is going to give you in this next year. And again, I know people who do that, who give in faith, believing what God's going to give them, because they just want to do it once a year. And it's like, hey, this is what I'm believing for, versus, hey, once the year's over, then I'm going to find it in my deep pockets of savings, and we'll make sure we settle it up at the end of the year. It's like, no, tithing is not settling things up at the end of the year. It's giving God first. So when you have a lot, I know that's like, it could be harder to do because it's your heart, but how do you take what's in your heart and actually make that happen practically?
I also think that for some who don't have a lot, they can assume that it's easy for those that have a lot to do that gift as well. And I also think that's not true either. You know, like there are some that at the end of the year, you know, let's say you make $1 million that year and your tithe would be $100,000. I think some people assume, well, you've got 900,000 remaining. That's an easy transfer to make. And it's just not that simple. It's never been that simple, because somebody around the world looks at you and says, you make $50,000? That $5,000 should be an easy transfer to make, because you make $50,000. And so I do think for us to and I know you weren't saying that, but I think sometimes like it's an act of worship for all of us.
Yep.
And for those who maybe it does feel like a due to pay, I think no matter how much money you make, it could feel that way.
Yep.
You know, and I think some who are maybe the richest person in our church or the richest person in our community could also give once a year, to your point, with this, God, look at what I get to give to you. Thank you for your provision. I want to honor you in this way. And I think both things can be true. I wouldn't want someone to hear that and think, oh yeah, because I give every paycheck, I'm nailing it. It's like, no, it's the posture of our heart that says, God, you're first in my life. And I love doing this. I loved hearing, testimonies of people that are doing this. I had somebody that texted me and he said, hey, I have I had a sale go through and I want to tithe on it. And it was a little while ago, but I still want to do it. I feel the spiritual weight of that. I want to do that. Great. I'm still celebrating that because God is doing something. And I think God's going to just keep putting his hand upon you. And I think that, the phrase that gets thrown around, like you can't outgive God. it's something that is like sometimes a cheesy like Hobby Lobby, like thing you put on the wall. You can't outgive God.
Hobby Lobby, one of the most generous families.
There you go. 1,070 something stores. I really would love to see somebody try. Like, have you ever met someone who's like, I did it?
No, I did hear a story of a guy that would empty his bank account and his retirement at the end of every year and trust God for the next year. And I don't know that guy's name, but I did hear a story.
I've heard this as well.
And the Lord took care of them.
But what I'm saying is, you've never met somebody on the other side of that equation that said, I outgave him. I did it. Like, I could check. I found the end. I found the end of the rainbow. Yeah. I found the end of the pot. I gave all that I had, and he didn't show up. And he left me to dry.
Yeah, I think even if you do have a story or an example, a short-term example, it'd most likely be a short-term example where somebody gave more than they received back from God financially. I think when you're doing it with the right heart, you will gain more in character, integrity, joy, fruit of the Spirit, ministry opportunity, loved one gets saved, protection, angelic protection in the unseen. Like, I think you will always receive more, whether you know it or not, than you give.
Right. And that's where, if we're looking for the material blessing that says, and Pastor Rob talked about it, that's why we're not prosperity gospel. It says, if you give, you will get. It's the quote that he shared is, I get more so that I can give more. That's my heart, and that's my posture. And I also think God, he likes to bless you along the way. And for some, Paul talks about it. There's moments where I'm persecuted. There's moments where I'm good. There's moments where I'm at the worst moment of my life. And our posture should always be, God, you've given me everything. And if you want to take it, you can take it. If you want to give it, you can give it. But also, every good and perfect gift is from above. And I'm not going to be so prideful that I can't appreciate and enjoy the gift that God has given me. I can't receive that. That's what you were talking about earlier. I think you dishonor God in a similar way by throwing the gifts that he gives to you aside with your own pride than if you were to, gripe about not getting them, right? It's like, God gives you, oh God, this, I know I got a great family, but it's like, what? That's crazy.
Yep. The Lord, what he did with grumblers in the Old Testament, those that were delivered and they wanted to go back to Egypt, he opened the ground and swallowed them and their family. So
yikes.
Don't grumble.
You don't hear that one often.
No. Somebody will say it's Old Testament, but God's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Praise God. And the world of the generous does grow larger and larger, and that is a prosperity verse that I believe is true. The world of the generous grows larger and larger. So that doesn't mean your bank account automatically grows larger and larger, but can we play this clip just because we teed it up earlier?
Yeah.
This is Wes Huff on tithing.
So tithing in one way is done away with under the old covenant, yet simultaneously giving does not now become redundant. In the same way that Jesus says he hasn't come to abolish the law but to fulfill it, Christians are always to give to the poor and support other works that extend God's kingdom. We see that in like 2 Corinthians 8 and 9. That's the whole point of that. The basic tithe is to be given to the church to support the work and mission of something like where we get the term tithe from in Malachi 3. So I would encourage people, you're no longer bound by the tithe. It's no longer 10%. You can give as much as you want. That's the gift of what you've been given under the new covenant. You're now not limited to 10% or even maybe the 23.3% that I mentioned before with like the old covenant. Now you can give, as much as you want in that case. And what a glorious ability to give back to God's work in God's kingdom. I think that really is.
So he, that's just replaying. He says earlier in the clip, what we didn't see, and I've not heard this taught either. We talked about Abraham gave the first tithe, brought it to Melchizedek, which he does talk about. Abraham brings 10%. That becomes this model for the people of God. That, I don't know why he didn't do 3%. I don't know why he didn't do 30. He did 10. But then the law, a lot of people talk about the law. Well, when the law was given, it was actually, if you counted it up,
Yeah, all the different tithes. Yeah.
23.3% of your income. That was the law. In the New Testament, best calculations, it's 27%. That's just how that's how their cheerful heart and overflowing attitude gave.
Where did that come from?
So that I heard that stat. I'll have to pull it up. I
Okay.
can bring it back next week.
Got it.
But and maybe you could look it up on what
You're saying,
AI
like-
are you using?
What do you want me to use?
Oh, you can use Google. That's
He's a
fine.
big Claude fan.
What was the average like first century church giving percentage like to their household income? Let's see if it pulls it up. But I heard
might end up saying
27%. Yeah, we'll just see what they pull. 10%.
Yeah, it's like going to 10.
You silly goose.
No, I
21.
This is talking about
this
like
is
what we
21%
give
Christian.
today.
anyways, you can come back. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail. I just was
No,
curious where
I
it came from.
I love it, and
Yeah.
I can pull it up. But I think when people go like, why do I have to give 10%?
No, the early church, to your point, the early church was giving way more than that. It was not
Way more than 10. I thought it was more than 23.3 also.
Right. I'll take you, when we figured out where that came from. I look at the early church and people are saying they gave all they had. Mm-hmm. They gave everything. I love Wes's point. We can talk about and debate whether or not the Old Testament principle, and that's what Pastor Rob will say. He says the Old Testament principle, it's not the law anymore because Christ fulfilled the law, but it's this principle to say, okay, guys, if that's what the Old Testament was, if the early church given everything they had, supporting each other's needs, and I think it's an understanding of grace, though. I think it's like the grace giver. I think we've mentioned this before, but it's like, no, I'm a New Testament giver. I give less than the Old Testament people. I give less than the first fruits, the 1.5% to 2.5%. It's like I give nothing. I'm a grace giver. It's like, praise God for your understanding of grace.
You're a grace keeper.
Yeah.
No, really great combo, and I like that Wes Huff got back on, honestly, because
been a while.
he's the theologian guy that was on Rogan, and we've shown him on the podcast before. But he was like, "You are not bound by the tithe. You can give as much as you want.
Yeah, you don't need to hold yourself back by 10 or 23.
Yeah, you can give even more.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for the combo, and I'm stirred up just about creating some type of list of like, I don't know. It's a church version of Dave Ramsey, but not just that. Like it's a Gen Alpha version of Dave Ramsey. It's like, hey, these are off the table until you get these things in order, and then you can go back to Twitch tips. I don't know.
I don't get that.
Should be doing that.
Well, it's
anyways,
like clothes, shelter. We need food, we need shelter, we need clothing. And it's like, I like clothing and I like fashion, and also I've limited myself now to say I'm gonna shop one time a year because I have enough, and I still fit in the clothes that I fit in, and I used to shop a lot, and now I usually shop once a year now. And it's like, that's when I shop.
What does that day look like for you? Just once a year?
Well, when we usually go on a family trip,
Okay.
it's usually been New
Yeah,
York.
you load up.
Yeah, and we just, it's like I'll save up a little bit and I'll shop that week, and my parents give us some money for Christmas, and it's like, it's not $5,000, that I'm spending. It's $1,000. I'll save up $500. So it's like I'm trying to say, okay, I need maybe a pair of shoes and a couple pairs of jeans and a sweatshirt. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I need new socks and underwear. I can't buy it once a year, but I'm not intentionally going out to shop because I just feel like I have what I need, and if I need something on a birthday or on Christmas, but it's like, oh, you're out of order. You spend that much. No, well, a lot of people spend hundreds of dollars every single month. And I'm not saying you're wrong if you are, but if you're drowning in debt, I just think we assume, no, I need clothing. It's like, dude, I look in my closet and I think I got to get rid of a lot of this stuff. And I love clothes.
Oh, dude, I get probably once a year I get rid of a ton out of my closet, and most of those I've had for years, and it's like get rid of, and then it's probably one good shopping spree. And I'm not even spending that much money. Actually, I'd be embarrassed to tell you the number because it's not that much.
Like people might be like, "Hey, Kirk, you can spend a little
Like,
more
you
than
spend a little more.
than $80."
Anyways, I just don't go to the nice places. You know,
You can get a lot of Fleet Farms.
yeah,
so.
I'm happy with Old Navy and Nordstrom Rack, and you know.
But that's
those
where
places.
I'm different. Whereas I will say my philosophy is like, I'm gonna buy 5 things that are nice,
Yeah.
and then every year I'm just gonna buy 5 things that are nice, and then
I think this is Old
they
Navy.
they
I'm
last.
happy about it.
Old
It
Navy's
lasts a
great.
lot longer, and then I rotate through, and
Yeah.
and like I put shoe trees in my shoes. I like take care of them. I wipe them down so they last longer. You know, I don't know. I don't want to go out and buy, like that's my thing. But there's different ways to do it.
But I think that's it's like it's helpful to like hear somebody talk about that, because I would buy clothes more than once a year, but that would be like I saw a T-shirt or something, like a sweatshirt, like it would be like one item that was like, oh, I kind of like that, I'll get that because I was at Target, or I was at the mall, I was at Zara, whatever it is. But yeah, it's like once a year that I go like, okay, today's the day, and I'm gonna get a handful of things.
I just put a thing and I said, I will, when I travel, I will say, hey, I can shop when I travel. Like that's where my budget would come out of. Because otherwise, when I'm at home, and this is a book that I was reading, Clear Thinking, and I know we're getting over here, ready to go. People are like, you're
Oh yeah, sorry
divulging.
guys.
But he said, put rules in place in your life that other people will follow those rules. So for example, for me, I say I don't shop at home. I shop when I travel, and that makes it fun for me. It's a part of the experience. And so again, when we go to New York, or I was just in Australia, I bought one thing and it was $100. I bought one thing. And it's like, Logan, you said you only shop once a year. Okay, my rule is I only shop when I travel, but usually it's only one time a year. And I bought one thing. Again, I'm confessing. But that it allows me to not be always thinking about every time I go to the mall. It's like, no, I don't shop for clothes. I just don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't even look. I don't even think about it, right? So sometimes you might need to put those rules in place where you go, no, I just don't do that. It's like, oh, I don't drink. Like John Bevere will do that. He's like, oh, I don't eat carbs past 2 p.m. It's like, that's just his rule. So it just makes it easy. No, it's past 2 p.m. I don't eat carbs. Okay.
Dude, I gotta get that rule going probably. I agree, dude. This is a great convo. Hopefully it's helpful to those that are listening. Give us feedback on YouTube chat, or I don't know, where else can people give feedback? That's probably
Instagram?
that's the spot.
Instagram.
But they're usually not listening to this whole episode on Instagram. But that's, yeah, you can talk to us anywhere. And
Or
let us
comment
know.
and tell us what we missed. What things do people spend money on that is ridiculous, that is like, people got to stop?
Yeah, love it. Thanks, everybody. We're going to close in prayer.
Pray for us.
Lord, thank you for this time together. We love you. We honor you. And it's easy to honor you first in the area of the tithe. Why? Because we already gave you our whole life. You've got our whole life in the palm of our hand. Something that you taught me in a lesson as the love of money was growing in my heart years ago. Something that you, like, it had to die in my heart because it was going to kill me. Something that you taught me, the day I gave my life to Jesus is the day I was set for life. Somebody needs to receive that and actually believe it. When you gave your life to Christ, that was the day you were set for life. God, you are our provider. You hold us in the palm of your hand. You have our kids in your hand. You have college funds and wedding funds and retirement. You are gonna help us prepare for all of that. And we don't need a lot. We don't need a lot to be content in this life. We can be content with a lot. We can be content with a little. And so, Lord, thank you for everything that you provide. And Lord, thank you that USA won gold. Praise God. And help us always in victory moments to give you the glory. We were not made to receive praise, to receive worship. It'll crush us. It will destroy us. So we give you the glory. In Jesus' name, everybody said,
Amen.
amen.